Okay, so now we're going to kind of take this midpoint thing to the next level, to the next step. Okay, so what if we know the midpoint M, okay, and we know one of the endpoints, and we want to find the other endpoint. All right, so we'll be able to graph this. So let's just say we've got L at 3, -5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and we've got the midpoint at -1, 2, -1, +2. So this is M. Okay, and this is L. We want to find J, which is going to be somewhere up here. Okay, so if you graph these, you can sort of get an idea where the point needs to be, even if you don't know exactly where it's at. Okay, so that's the idea. Let's go ahead and use the midpoint formula to find those endpoints. Okay, so we know that x sub m, the midpoint x-coordinate is x1 plus x2 divided by 2. Okay, only now the difference is we know what xm is. What we don't know is what x2 is. So we're going to substitute the values that we know and substitute for the one that we don't know. And in case you can hear that, that's my dog Rufus, who is in his crate right now and not happy about it, but he is kind of a nuisance sometimes. But anyway, all right, so let's substitute in our midpoint x sub m. So that's -1. This is x sub m. This is xm right here. And this is ym. So we're going to substitute in -1 equals x sub 1, which is 3, plus x sub 2. And that's all divided by 2. Okay, so we're going to solve for x. So how do we do that? And we didn't really do a lot of this with the equations, but we're going to go ahead and try to do it now. So this 2 applies to the 3, and it also applies to the x sub 2. So let's go ahead and solve. -1 equals 3 over 2. So we can separate this into 2 separate terms, plus x2 over 2. And I'm going to erase this because we're going to need that space. Okay, so now I got to solve for x. Okay, so it's a little bit out of order, but we know that we're going to subtract -3/2 from both sides. Okay, so that leaves me with, so I got to do a little side math here. -1 minus 3/2. Well, I got to find common denominator here. So -1, I need to have that with a denominator of 2. So that's going to be -2 over 2 minus 3 over 2. Okay, so -2 minus 3 is -5 over 2. Okay, and so then that equals, so we've got -5 over 2 equals x sub 2 over 2. Well, I need to get this x sub 2 by itself. Remember, this is just a variable. Don't be intimidated because it's got this little sub 2 next to it. That's just telling us it's which point it is. This is still just an x value. Okay, so to get this x by itself, we're going to multiply both sides by 2. Okay, so if I multiply by 2 here, multiply by 2 here, those cancel out. I multiply by 2 over here. These cancel out as well, right? 2 times -5 is -10 over 2, which is -5. So we could just cancel those out, or you can just multiply it out, right? So if we do 2 over 1 times -5 over 2, that's going to be -10 over 2, which is the same as -5. Well, the same thing if I cancel them out. All right, so we don't have to, we don't have to do that math. Okay, so then we've got -5 equals x sub 2. So my x coordinate for this point up top is going to be -5. Now I want to do the y, do the same thing with the y. Okay, so y sub m is 2 equals y sub 1, which is -5, plus y2 over 2. Okay, we're going to do the same thing we did over there. -2 equals -5 over 2 plus y over 2. Okay, we're going to add 5/2 to both sides, plus 5/2. Okay, those cancel out. Just like over there, those cancel out. So we've got y sub 2 over 2. Okay, we need to do 2 over 2 plus 5 over 2. This is side math right here. Okay, 2/2. Remember, 2 is the same as, I'm sorry, that's going to be 4 over 2. 4 over 2, right? So 2 If I multiply top and bottom by 2, I'm going to get 4 over 2. Okay, 4 over 2 plus 5 over 2 equals 9 over 2. So 9 halves equals y sub 2 over 2. Now to get this y by itself, we're going to multiply both sides by positive 2, right? I need to cancel these out. So I get the y2 by itself. Okay, so 9 times 2 is 18. So that'll be 18 over 2, which is 9. Or we can just cross cancel, and we're just left with a 9 right there. All right, so my answer for that endpoint, point J is -5, comma, positive 9. So let's go to our graph and see if that kind of makes sense for us. -5, positive 9. I think we're going to be good here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and that is point J. So if we take our ruler, which I have lost, take our ruler, looks pretty good. Yep. All right, so that looks good, right? And you can kind of visually inspect. So if you get some numbers and you end up with a point way over here and these points don't line up, we did something wrong, right? Because this is linear. This is going to be in a line. Okay, so that's how we use the midpoint and one other point to find an endpoint.